So the reason I want to present this article today is because I initially wanted to study Alfie Kohn's constructivist theory, but I found that it was difficult to find some action-based or empirical research by this theorist, and I instead decided to study Ramon Lewis' article for reasons that I will explain very soon. But first, I want to explain why I found that Alfie Kohn's theory was very intriguing. It's because I want to show you this. This is what I use for one of my twins, and it's a very classic chart of behaviour. I've even done the drawings of what not to do, and it's got all the smiley face. So this is very, it's used very widely in childhood and primary education. So I was very interested to read more about Alfie Kohn, but unfortunately I found that from an academic point of view, even though he's written a lot of articles and he's published a lot of books, I couldn't base myself on a proper article research to discuss today. So instead I found a very interesting article by Lewis, who's a behavioral expert from Melbourne, and his Lord of the Fly scenario article explores a little bit what Alfie Kohn wishes to do, which is removing all external control in the school and see what happens. So I found that was just the best for me to explore today. Basically, the novel which inspired his research is William Golding's novel, Lord of the Fly, where we've removed all external control from the school and they are left with their device, and it turns to chaos and quickly murder. And even though he couldn't reproduce that scenario in school, it would be illegal and of course impossible to do. He asked instead primary and secondary students what in surveys, what would they do if all those external controls, what he calls external controls, are rewards, punishment, reports to parents, all these things were removed from the school, how would they feel and if they would misbehave? And the results were very interesting, because almost a very vast majority of primary students, 64%, answered by saying that they would misbehave, and they were very likely to misbehave if all those external controls were removed. And nearly half, 46% of secondary students said that as well they would misbehave. So very clear trend here. And this is very interesting because what does that tell us? Well, the researchers have concluded that basically external controls seem to regulate misbehavior, and in their absence, the students predict that they would not behave in a proper manner. But it also interesting demonstrate that the fact that they do not trust themselves, the students anticipate that they'll misbehave, means that external control actually makes students less responsible, because they're predicting that without them they won't behave, so they don't trust themselves. So it's a kind of double-edged sword, and external controls makes them less responsible and less independent to sort of self-regulate themselves. So as a conclusion, Lewis and his colleagues recommend that schools and teachers explore the development of internal controls to make students more responsible and make them, what he says, active citizens. And I find that this would be the best extension research to this research, and a kind of a fine balance, a sort of good balance between behavioral theory and constructivist theory, and it would sit kind of in between. And I think I would like to read more about this, and I find this quite interesting. Thank you.